Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian own, nothing control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listening to replay. This is episode 691. RE equals real estate equals make money on the buy, not the sell. So we definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. This is the voice, your host, Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. And so this is one of those episodes that sometimes, we get so many trustees that want to jump back into real estate. A lot of people want to jump into real estate and they think this is just like, some easy thing to do. And make money on the buy, not the sell. Is here to really share with individuals, families as well, that you see so many people with the thought process, oh, I'm going to sell a house and make more money. I'm going to sell a house and there's going to be an appreciation. And then all the while, when it comes to truly successful entrepreneurs, truly successful investors, more so investors, investors have learned the art of making the money on the buy, not the sell. We're not talking about trading. We're actually talking about buying real estate. Real estate. And it's interesting because we see so many people that don't have that thought process. It's like a poverty mindset, because we're sitting around some advisors and they're just hammering it home. Hey, Trust Christian, we got to get the cash on cash returns and all this other stuff. And you're just like, man, the asset is going to be able to cash flow. So what's the big deal? Oh, what a big deal is we might not be able to sell it for the price that we want to sell it for in the future. So are we making money on the buy or are we making money on the sell? And what you hear redundantly across successful investors is they can't bet on the end. They can only focus on getting in good deals. And so what happens is you get so many people that they don't understand it's about getting a good deal. What does a good deal look like? So many people say, "Oh, I got this deal, and I've been doing real estate, and the margins are this and that," but you're using your own money. So if the deal was good enough, the bank would finance it. You risking your money is the same thing as the bank risking their money. So it's the same thing. Why would you put something at risk, especially your own, when the bank will allow you to take a risk on them? Whether you got a good business history, personal credit history, whatever it is. But see, this is an inverse in thinking. It's actually what the mentors have always mentored us to say. They'll say, "Oh yeah, trust Christian. You gotta think from the end. You gotta reverse engineer this." And see, that's the challenge. Is so many people they're not used to that type of thought process. They're focused on, "Oh, I just want to get started." Everybody wants to get started. You know how easy it is to get started. It's not about getting started. It's about seeing the project through. It's about being able to get the deal once again and make money on the buy, not on the sell. This is a counterintuitive thought process. Oh man, I'm gonna do what everybody else is doing. Trust Christian in the vault. I'm gonna just get some real estate and then I'm gonna be able to flip it. They always say that. Think about the flippers mentality. They're trying to make money on the sale. They're not trying to make money on the buy, because if you make money on the buy, the sale is inevitable. The sale is a lot easier transaction. That's very easy to spot out. Why? Because the sale is there, the asset is there. You're not looking to get rich on the sale. You're looking to get rich as you do each transaction, and that means at the upfront of you purchasing the asset. And so it's interesting once again to see the thought process of so many. Oh man, I'm a real estate investor, trust Christian, but they don't talk like this. Sure, we're in elite rooms, and that's how they talk. They make money on the buy. We were sitting on the line today with some uh, uh, what sophisticated managers that have managed over $500 million, and they were just like, yeah, Christian, trust Christian involved. Like, we're not. We got to make sure that we're focused on making money when we buy assets, not when we sell them, because then we'll be like the same operators that we're working with and looking to buy their business, which is they're trying to get rich off of one transaction, and you're not going to get rich off one transaction. When you get rich off one transaction, that's called the lottery, ladies and gentlemen. So heads up, wake up. Guess what? If you have a business, or you are in business, or you are an investor, there is not one that gets rich off one transaction. Oh, trust Christian, you don't know. Show us. And then if you say rich, we want to talk about wealthy. Not, oh, well, I got rich, so I made a few $1,000,000. Like, sure, you can make that in just building a business. We're talking about actually, like, when you get it past 20, $30 million plus $100 million. That's when you are in a position where, once again, your life is different. So many people talk about generational wealth. We were sitting around some of our mentors. See, this is the hard reality that no one wants to hear on the street. Oh, trust Christian, all I need is $1,000,000 so I can retire. All I need is 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million. Okay, 5 million at a 10% clip. You got a fighting chance. Definitely, you got a fighting chance, and but to say that is, and you think about it, is that for one person or that for two people? Oh, trust Christian, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't need $5 million saved up. You don't need to live off $40,000 a month. You don't need to live off $20,000 a month. You don't know what you're talking about. When rent's going up in the cities, the rents aren't going backwards, ladies and gentlemen. You think in 5, 10 years, 20 years, when you get ready to retire, if the money's losing the value, then why wouldn't you pay more money? Oh, trust Christian. So I'm not thinking about that. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about the money losing value. We're all going to lose. We're all losers. No, you're a loser. We're not all going to lose. Because the ones that understand you make money on the buy, not on the sell, they're going to transact in a different way. Sure, they're going to be a little bit wiser in their approach towards investing. They're going to be a little bit wiser. They're not going to be like the street. Oh, yeah, we're going to make money on the sale. We're waiting for interest rates to go down. We're waiting for this. We're waiting for that. You're waiting to sell when you could be making money on the buy. Oh no, that's not my wheelhouse right there, Trust Christian involved. I gotta figure out how to make money on the buy. How you make money on the buy? Cause the sale, I thought you make money on the sale. How you make money on the buy? So we're on the line, and I mean, ultimately, it just comes down to the price that you're buying the asset for, and what is going to be your returns over at the length of the actual transaction. Some people, they say, oh yeah, I'm looking to hold an asset 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. You could almost look at, is the asset that you're actually acquiring going to outperform what people call treasury notes and things like that. So you could say, okay, if I held a treasury note, I put this money in this account, and it's going to yield me how much over a 5 year period or a 10 year period, because they have a 5 year note and they have a 10 year note. They also have actually like a 2 year or 3 year note. You can look into that either way, but they definitely have the 5 and the 10 year. So when you're talking about, oh, how do I judge quality assets? We had a trustee come to us. Oh, yeah, I got $5,000. Man, what the heck is $5,000? Man, that's a rim on somebody's car. That ain't no money. Oh man, Trust Christian, you don't know. That's my life savings though. Then go ahead and put it in. What does your portfolio look like? Do you have a hard asset portfolio? Once again, do you have insurance in your portfolio? These are small things that make a difference. So even once again, you make money on the buy. You think about it. If you purchase an asset right now in precious metals, ladies and gentlemen, we have been in precious metals for years, and last time we checked, they haven't gone below the price that we actually started at. So how is it that you don't make money on the buy? You make money on the buy because you get something that is not going to go below. But because so many people think, oh, I'm just going to invest in real estate, so the market is only going to go up. It sounds good, but there's called resets. There's interest rates. There's inflation. There's many other reasons. There's supply and demand. There's many reasons. Oh no, Trust Christian, I don't care about what you talk about. I don't really care because I'm gonna make money when I sell the house. Not gonna make money on the buy, and this is what swept across a whole bunch of generation, and that's why everybody's trying to fight over selling their house at a high price because they're trying to get rich off of the house, and that's that. That's that. You're trying to get rich off selling the house. How many people say I'm getting rich off buying a house? They don't say that. Why? Because they don't know how to make the money on the buy. They don't know that. We're not saying you got to Airbnb it out or no shout out to them or anything like that, but we're not saying you got to Airbnb it out. We're not saying you got to do that. But what we are saying is when it comes down to the assets, a lot of people say, "Oh, I want to be an investor. I want to get passive income. I want to make passive income." Passive income doesn't mean you sell anything. You want to know what passive income means? Passive income means you make money on the buy. Oh no, Trust Christian, no one ever told me it like that. I didn't know that passive income is making money on the buy. Why? Because now you're getting cash on cash returns quarterly, possibly, annually, possibly. And so as well you might make money at the disposal of the asset. Possibly. That's how it looks. That's how it looks, ladies and gentlemen. Are you making money on the buy, not making money on the sale? But oh no, Trust Christian, I haven't heard this type of thought process because I don't know these assets that I can just get in and make money off the buy. The barrier to entry on a lot of assets is pretty high. Gold's high? No, it's not. It's just you don't know the smaller denominations you can get in gold. But gold at 3,000 an ounce, that's different or whatever. But when you talk about the smaller denominations, that's fine. You could also acquire other precious metals that don't have to be $3,000. You could acquire other precious metals. That's a fact. People say, "Oh, I want to move into passive investments." Okay, how do you judge whether the passive investment is actually going to be worthwhile for you making money on your buy? How do you know that? Did you sit in front of your financial advisor? Did you take any deals to your financial advisor? So many people don't trust, but then they don't have any financial advisors. Like you didn't get either or. You got to get one or the other. You should have both. A trusted advisor who's a financial advisor. Somebody that understands spreads, bids, ask, compound returns, compound annual growth rate. Some people, what you think you're just supposed to get into a fixed income asset or you're going to get into a variable rate? And that's not just on actually, think about it. When you get into an asset, the asset's supposed to pay you. Now think about it. How isn't it, how you get it, how is the house an asset? How is it an asset if you get in it, it doesn't make you any money? So outside of it not making you any money, you make money when you sell it then, when you're living in it. You don't make money on the buy when you're living in it. You make money on the sell when you're living in it. Why? Because it affects your returns. Because you're actually utilizing the asset, so it's a liability. It's not an asset, which means it's bringing in passive income. So we could talk about that all day. And we know that that's something that's very important for trustees when they talk about this whole, "Oh, I want to be in passive investments, Trust Christian Vault. I'm looking to be in passive investments." Okay, well, when you were in passive investment, do you see that you're not touching anything and you are getting paid immediately? You are getting paid within the first year. If it's a quality passive investment, so that means you make money on the buy. You make money because you got to put the money to work right now, not waiting until you sell it. So your money's sitting still and tied up in equity in the property. And so you got to wait to sell so you can get some liquidity. And for people that say, "Oh man, Trust Christian, you know the vocabulary, you know the vocabulary," man, the vocabulary is you reading a Financial Times, you reading Economist, you reading Newsweek, people reading Business Insider. These are the Barons. These are the publications you can read and not sit around saying, "Oh yeah, I was just scrolling on Instagram." Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with scrolling on anything. But if you're gonna scroll for 20 minutes on IG, why not scroll 20 minutes on a financial publication? Oh man, I don't know if they're telling lies over on the financial publication because I gotta pay for that, and I ain't trying to pay for no financial information because the elite, that's where they communicate, and I'm not trying to find out what they talk about because they might be telling lies to each other. Oh really? If the elite are communicating through a publication, that's how they're communicating. See, people think they're sophisticated. Oh, yeah, the elite, they're communicating through the movies. Yeah, they're also communicating through reading publications. Reading publications. Financial Times, New York Times, Reuters. Oh no, Trust Christian, you don't know. That sounds more like that sounds more than a Netflix. That sounds more than a Netflix subscription, man. How do I know I'm gonna get something worthwhile out of there? I'm watching Netflix, so I ain't got time to read no. I ain't got time to subscribe to no $20 publication that could possibly yield me a business idea, so I can change my family's generational wealth instead of watching Netflix. And I guess I'm gonna be entertained. Like that's where we're at. Of course. Of course. Of course. Oh, Trust Christian, we had this one trustee. And then even still, it's like you get a trustee that actually engages in, oh, I'm gonna go to the club. Okay, you go to the club. That's important. When we talk about the club, we're talking about a private business club. Okay, I'm gonna go to a private business club. Like, okay, are you going? You paid for it, but are you going? Are you going to the events? Are you networking? You know how easy it is to build something when you're around smart, sophisticated people, motivated people. You're not around people that don't have no motivation. You're around people that do have motivation. Oh no, Trust Christian default. That was the arm and a leg as far as price. Then you got some trustees that's not an arm and a leg. How do you make money on the buy? You make money on the buy by being around people that understand that you make money on the buy, not on the sell. Is that the way it is? Promise you, every single time, no doubt about it. You'll come to realize that as you get more into investing. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it is trading stocks or uh, if it's just actually real estate. You'll come to find out like, okay, we make money when we put our money in. When we risk our own capital, that's when we got to start making money. You got to kind of turn it, not necessarily turn it into a profit immediately, but everybody wants guaranteed returns type thought process. Oh, I want guaranteed returns. Well, if you want high guaranteed returns, there some people say, oh man, Church Christian, there's no such thing as a guaranteed return. All right, sure. If there's no such thing as a guaranteed return, why does the Treasury, have the ability? And that rate even varies. So once again, these people they didn't say, oh, we're giving zero returns. Sometimes they'll just say, oh, we're gonna lower the rate and we're only gonna give 2%. But at the end of the day, a lot of these companies, it's like, okay, so you can go track companies and find out what is their history of actually returning capital to their investors. And this is something that makes a difference because if you understand, okay, this person's been moving real fast recently, then that means that your money's going to grow faster. So once again, you make more money on the buy. Not when you, oh, all right, I'm gonna get into this person's fund, I'm gonna get into this asset, and I'm a hold tight, not much liquidity, and I'll wait until a liquidity event, which means we actually sell the asset. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the Vault, episode 691. RE, which is real estate, equals make money on the buy, not the sell. This is definitely one of those episodes. A lot of people will wonder, oh man, Trust Christian, we're going to do our best to continue to bring thought process to people here as we move forward because, we're doing another event right now. A lot of people ask the Vault, oh, Trust Christian Vault, when are you going to do another event? Well, first of all, we definitely are aware that people do want us to do events, but we do private events for private families. Like that's what it always has come down to, and we're doing another private event, and it's actually some people could say, "Oh man, is it going to be a big deal?" It's like we'll have about 20 to 30 people there. They're going to be all entrepreneurs. We're going to have some private bankers, some private lawyers. At the end of the day, private bankers, private lawyers. We're going to have many people in the room that are entrepreneurs looking for various different tools that they need when you're an entrepreneur. You need lawyers, you need accountants. So having those people around, having a what is that? Having an enrolled agent there. Having these various different people there. So doing our best to cultivate and curate a very well manicured environment that states diversity and moves forward in a fashion with your high levels of professionalism. And so you got to be protective of your network, but we're gonna have commercial brokers in the room. We're gonna have real estate people. We're gonna have commercial, actual developers in the room at this particular event. People may not know. Oh man, I trust Christian. Man, I gotta see somebody that's making $5 to $10 million a year doing commercial real estate, and they look like me. And guess what? Trust Christian's got them in the room. Why? Because there's just many people out here doing many different things, and you'll come to find out that yes, there are many ways to make millions of dollars and tons of money. But when you see that, even in that business, when we're talking to that particular individual, commercial real estate, you got to make money when you actually start doing business. When you actually open up, make money on the buy. As soon as we open up, we got contracts. Now make money on the sell. Because guess what? They haven't sold the business yet. So they're not making money on the sell. They're making money on the buy. But guess what? When they actually are doing business right now, they're making money. And that is a great thing. That is a very, very good thing. They are making money right now while they're open, and they are making substantial funds because it's a commercial developer. And so it just comes down to, are you in the right place at the right time with the right people, or do you understand the right things? Some people say, oh man, George Christian, you don't know. Yeah, we do know. We know that if you're not in the right rooms, sometimes it's going to be challenging to get that information that you need. Really, promise you. Promise you. Yes, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listening to replay. Christian at trustchristian.com. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live. Christian at trustchristian.com. If you want consultation, you want to go over something of this nature when it comes to trustee training or anything of that sort, feel free to reach out. But just know, ladies and gentlemen, yes, at the vault, we do have very successful people that we work with privately. And yes, they definitely are doing business at high levels. We've interviewed an Olympic athlete on here, ladies and gentlemen. So people say, "Oh man, trust Christian. Who do you know? Who do you know?" Y'all want to sit here and talk about who we know. We gonna share with y'all who we know. Yes, we know an Olympic athlete. We know someone that's an SEC attorney. We know someone that's an enrolled agent. Yes, do you? Do you have them in your Rolodex? Are you doing your best to build relationships like that so you can have people like that in your Rolodex? That's what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, really? Promise you. Can you pick up the phone and call these people? Can you pick up the phone and call these people? Will they pick up the phone if you call these people? How about that? Oh, Trust Christian, I don't know anybody like that. And then we're sharing with you once again. That's called building their relationships, getting out your comfort zone, going to the business clubs. Certain things that you just gotta do so you can get around the right people and not be around Joe Schmoes. And it's like one of those things. One of the mentors they would say, "Oh, Trust Christian Vote, you gotta, you gotta get lawyers and accountants you can't afford." And we used to sit there and think he would just be talking sideways when he say something like that. And then you get faced with the real reality at one point. Oh man, I'm gonna go out here and find a lawyer's accountant that can really handle my situation. And then next thing you find out, you're like, oh man, am I gonna be the cheapskate of the year? Or am I actually going to, am I actually going to perform? Am I actually going to go out and get accountants and lawyers that I can't afford? Some people say, "Oh man, how do you get lawyers and accountants you can't afford it if you can't afford them?" First of all, you get lawyers and accountants that you can't afford because there's many ways for them to bill you. They don't have to bill you on a retainer. Everybody thinks that, "Oh man, they gotta bill me on a retainer." Yeah, because you sitting around the wrong people. That's why when you get around wealthier circles, you understand that all the billing is not the same. Bottom line, the billing is not the same. So for that reason, you have some leverage to say, okay, what can I do to actually sharpen this deal for a lawyer in the first place? And guess what? Recently, we actually did that. We actually did that with what? Oh, that was a good one. So basically, okay, you say, how does that look? It looks where the lawyer actually came into a company. Company didn't have a representing law firm, and so by them not having a representing law firm, they actually came in, acquired the services. The company did acquire the services of the law firm, and as well, they got somebody to sit on the board from the law firm. Now you say, "Oh man, is that legal or is that not legal?" Like, first of all, it comes a part of a package sometimes when you're dealing with people that are really like they're really toolkitted. That means they have a lot of skill sets and they provide multiple services. So, we just wanted to set the record straight that a lot of people say, "Oh man, Trust Christian, I've never seen that done before." Just because you never seen it done before doesn't mean it can't get done. We had trustees take some small piece of information, they take it and they run with it, and they hit the road, they hit the horses, hit the hay, they gone today. Don't see them tomorrow, type deal. "Oh man, I got the information I needed." Oh really? So how is it that you got the information you needed when we're around wealthier families and they stick together? So they don't talk like that. They don't say, "I got the information that I needed." Wealthier families just peruse, look around, see what's available, do their best to keep relationships solid. "Oh man, you don't know Trust Christian involved. You don't know." Okay, you right. So here we go. You say, how do you go to jail as a financier? You go to jail because you effed over enough people, not just the wrong people, enough people. So, once again, how many people are actually dealing with a Bernie Madoff? They're not. But he did it to enough people. It wasn't that he did it just to rich people. That's all he dealt with was rich people. That's all Bernie Madoff dealt with was rich people. He didn't take poor people's money. He didn't take people that were in poverty. He dealt with people that had money. Oh man. All right. Different type of story now, huh? Different type of story because he took wealthy people's money and supposedly scammed them out of it, right? Because you can have substantial funds and still get got. Like, that's not, you're not above getting theft from a higher level in the system. Like, it's not about that. What it's about is actually what we would say is at the end of the day, think about how many people were trying to make money on the buy with Bernie. They were trying to make money on the buy. They weren't trying to make money, but they also were thinking about the sell when he finally did dispose the assets. Because the way he pulled off his scheme is that he actually held your money like most companies do. He just held your money. So at the end of the day, he was using his money, or excuse me, he was using your money to pay another investor. And so that's a scheme. I mean, there's many things called a scheme, but it was a scheme. It wasn't really probably like a true business intent behind it or something where he was actually like doing something that was considered credible. So when we see these guys talk about these crypto funds and stuff like that, we'll say, okay, how come you don't have institutional money backing you? If it's so easy to get, if this is such a safe investment, then institutions will back you. Bottom line, it's like a business, correct? But it's not. It's not regulated, and that's the challenge that people don't hear is that that asset class is not regulated. We're not going to go back and forth about whether it's actually an asset or not. Sure, you can go back and forth all day about it being an asset, but when it comes to the actual, you know, they look at it as a legitimate asset in some realms. It's just not regulated by the SEC completely, and for that reason, you don't see a lot of families in this in our sector in the high net worth or wealthy sector actually like putting tons of capital behind it. Just bottom line, sure, you'll see athletes, you'll see other successful people do it, but not not institutions putting $100 million behind it. They'll buy most of the coins up in the first place if that was the case. See how easy it is to know whether they're involved or not? Because they would have bought up most of the coins. They just would have bought the coins. It's just appropriate. Why? They have the most amount of capital and they have the most amount of capital. Somebody's got billions of dollars, they can lose $50 million. They can lose 50. They can lose 75 million. They can lose it. It's like no way. Of course they don't want to lose it. No one wants to lose the money. But at the end of the day, the risk factor on those things right now is so high. It's not even funny. Like when we listen around to wealthier families and we say, okay, what are you guys putting your money into right now? I mean, they're not really telling us that they're putting money into these cryptos and things like that. People are like, oh man, you don't know about this coin and that coin, and then Musk is here. It's like, okay, sure, then sure, yeah. We'll say this much, and then we'll wrap up this episode. First of all, they almost about to have a recall on the Cybertruck. Why, Trust Christian? How do you know this information? What do you mean a recall on a Cybertruck? They say that the sales aren't there. The truck is too big. Oh no, but it's a cool looking truck, Christian. Trust Christian of all. It's the coolest looking car I've ever seen. It's like so futuristic looking. Yeah, and guess what? They've already reported that they might stop making it because it's too big. Because the competitive market says people don't want these big, goofy looking, Blade Runner looking vehicles. They want simple, small, sleek. Oh, you forgot about the American consumer? You think they don't like cool? Oh no, I need my truck to look like it's a toy. It looks like a Lego. It doesn't even look like anybody cared about the design other than three angles, like a triangle. Right. You think Americans, true Americans that actually have dealt with Ford, have dealt with Jaguar, have dealt with Buick, have dealt with all these American companies, Chevrolet, they got classic cars. You think you could just come in the market? Oh, I'm creating an electrical vehicle for everyone in the world here, and then we're gonna make it so cool and safe. And the next thing you know, they're having a recall now. Hold on. But the window's supposed to be bulletproof, Trust Christian. The tires don't look like they're going to deflate. I don't have to worry about gas anymore. I'm saving the economy. Yeah, and the car's still not getting bought by you, the consumer, because it's not that cool. It's not cool. Some people could say it is, but if it was so cool, then it'd be selling, right? If the car was so cool, it'd be selling. So once again, sometimes you get people that are pioneers in these environments and they make money on the buy. You think about how much money Elon Musk made off of just creating a new thought process, like a theory, which is, hey, push the economy into a electrical vehicle thought process. But this has been one of the biggest failures, and no one's going to say it's a failure. How could you say that? F you, Christian. How could you say that, Trust Christian? This guy, he's a failure. It's $1 billion company. How's it a failure? Because the company is operating like all of your favorite companies that you use. Amazon, yeah, this is $1 billion company, but supposedly they not in the black, they in the red. They losing money, right? Let you tell it. Let the stock market tell it. They're losing money, but their stock's going up. They're losing money, right? Right. They are losing money. People aren't buying the goofy looking cars because they look like a daggone Lego. Oh no, that's not the reason why they're not buying it. Yeah, you're right. There's lack of electricity charging stations in certain parts of the country. It's not one reason why people aren't just buying these vehicles, the electric vehicles. They're doing a recall on the car. They're not going. They trying to change the design for what we hear on the street. So you make money on the buy, not on the sale. Oh man, I'm gonna resell this car now. That they gonna discontinue. That wasn't worth more than $200,000. Like, what are we talking about here? See, it's always like, oh, you're gonna make your money on the sale. So if you buy the car, you're gonna make the money on the sale when you sell it to someone else, right? Because it's not a make your money on the buy top thought process. But when you have people like Elon that are sophisticated in business, a super strategist, you understand that it's not always on making money on the sell. It's making money on the buy. So you build something from a small place or a certain place and you grow it. And the returns are there. The returns are there. I mean, this guy's been getting infused infusions of capital all the way through. I mean, this company is still reporting that they're not making any money. This company is still reporting that they is a $1 billion company. People are so stuck. Like that's how you know financial literacy is at an all-time low in America. Like Americans are like, oh yeah, condemn Elon. How you gonna condemn Elon for actually reading books and understanding how business works in America, where you can start a business and it's literally supposed to be $1 billion company and it's underwater, and you're sitting over here drowning in, oh man, I'm drowning in student loan debt, stress Christian. I'm drowning in the mortgage loan debt, Christian. Right. You're not drowning in $20 billion. You're not drowning in $50 million worth of business debt and understanding how to work with that debt. It's oh no, trust Christian. I'm gonna take out small loans because I don't want to be under that stress. That's what they say. That's really what they be saying, and they don't want to say it. That's really what they be saying, and we see that recently when we were sitting here dealing with some advisors, and they're just like, yeah, like it's all about our advisors. That's what it all comes down to. So it's like you want to sit here and focus on, oh man, we gonna make money on the sale. The investor makes money during the investment. You hear the difference? Y'all supposed to be passive investments, passive investors out here. Oh, I'm a passive investor. I don't touch anything. Trust Christian. Oh, I don't touch anything. So if you don't touch anything and you making money, you're right. You're not touching anything. But most people are touching something, especially in real estate. Oh man, I got an Airbnb. Okay. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Always appreciate everybody tuning in live, listen, replay. Focus on making money during the buy, not the sell. And that comes down to some small things, ladies and gentlemen. Some small things. Appreciate you all for tuning in live, listen, replay. Always appreciate you all for tuning in live, listen, replay. Christian at trustchristian.com is the email you can reach out to for a consultation. Christian at trustchristian.com for trustee training. Make sure you're in trusteeship properly. Peace and joy.